All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list for April 26, 2019. We got the Friday wrapping up earnings, Amazon, Intel. The market started dropping even after hours, quite crazy. I'm going to go over those earnings real quick. We're going to share a play we did today on stream. It was really, really cool. A lot of people got it. Shout out to chat. It was the Boeing, $8.50. I'm going to talk about it because it's going to bring up an important lesson of the strategy of how to play tomorrow, and I have picks related to that I want to look at. Again, all of these, you guys, it is Friday. There's going to be daily contracts. I even have some for June to look at. All of these contracts are for learning purposes. Even earnings is showing you now. This is a gamble. The markets are going to be crazy tomorrow, so make sure you guys are there in the morning. We are streaming live 30 minutes before open. It's pinned in the comments. It's in the description. We better see you there, but more importantly, you need to drop a like on the video. Well, that's not the more importantly, but we hit 1K today on the stream, so that was cool. But even more importantly, post your watch list. Put it below. We're going to go over it pre-market. We're going to go over a lot of these, but we're going to see. But it's setting up, you guys. This is the push it to the wall. I think a lot of people misunderstood what we were saying. So we're going to go over that, but get ready. I need you guys in the game, but even better now. Even though this wrapped up a big week, we have a bigger, not a bigger week. It's still a big week next week, but it's, it's not as big, but you're going to get the Qualcomms, the Google, AMD, McDonald's, a lot of random different stocks. So it's going to set up some good stuff, but we saw a lot of good moves today, which is going to open up the watch list. So let's start with some of the main earnings. There was, I'm going to get to the ones that reported today because there's some like UPS and FedEx, and I actually have a specific UPS contract for a swing you guys could watch. And again, you guys go make a paper trading account and you could log these contracts. You could go get ones you have ideas and just study how they perform over time. That is the point of all this. I want to make sure you guys are taking advantage of this learning opportunity and also understand the volatility of earnings, but I'm going to go over those. But let's talk about what reported. I think Intel is going to be the biggest one. So Friday is something you guys have to watch out for when you're trading it tomorrow, especially after earnings. Again, we still have some anticipation for more earnings, but this kind of could have released some tension with Amazon and all that. However, this Friday could be pretty muted. People might still, if the expectations for the other ones are still there, but depending on how satisfied investors were, we could get volatility. That's what we want, or it might be active the first 2 or 3 hours and then just set a spot and lay out there, kind of like you guys saw Facebook and Microsoft do today. And again, those were some of the important post-market and pre-market earnings. But watch Intel. They cut their guidance. They slashed guidance. They cut their guidance by a lot. They missed their revenue and EPS. It was really, really bad. So this isn't good. They dropped a lot, and a lot of these bigger names have been dropping. 3M dropped today. That dropped the Dow too. And we've been seeing, Raytheon as well. So you got to keep your eyes out for this, but that's not good with Intel. So those are cheap too because I have graveyard puts. I want to see how they value. So in the morning too, be on stream. I'll be able to let you guys know because, again, the longer term. But a bounce, I don't know. This is, again, they cut guidance pretty bad, and that's been the story. And even, with Amazon too, Amazon lowered their guidance. However, they beat and they killed their earnings, and they reported, but this was a cuck. A lot of the people who played the earnings, nothing really happened. There might be some plays tomorrow. We'll see. There was at times during the call, there's key points, the one-day shipping, stuff with their operating margin. Even, they're almost profitable in India. So there's a lot of good stuff. We'll talk about that more pre-market as far as the details, but I liked the report. I didn't think it was bad. But again, another thing to take note of, a lot of companies are doing good, and then it's performing bad on the end of the, It's performing bad on the guidance. But going back to Intel, that reminded me, because Intel's going to be related. You guys are looking at one play. Think of the sympathy plays. We saw Qualcomm, NVIDIA dropped after hours, so whoever got those graveyards, watch that. They sometimes, they're related, but I thought Qualcomm would get crushed, but actually Qualcomm's going to benefit. In that earnings, they announced Intel is backing off from, I think, like certain data processors, and Qualcomm is going to take, I think, the Apple modems. So Qualcomm is going to be taking that, they're not going to be competing. But at the same time, the computer segment is actually doing good for Intel, but they just didn't do good in cloud. They're competing with Amazon if you really put it into perspective. So that wasn't good, but watch Qualcomm, watch Intel. Again, Amazon, that's going to be interesting. We saw what happened with Facebook, And then we also had Starbucks. Starbucks did pretty good. I think the guidance was really good. I think the numbers were in line. It's going to do good, but the options were really expensive. This one you're going to want to play with the deflating. So again, there's a lot of contracts to go over that we're going to be able to play with these strategies that we have to keep in mind. So those are those ones as far as earnings. And again, we got kind of disappointed by the companies that reported post, and then we saw they traded. So keep your eye out for that. That could be nothing. Again, it's going to depend on the broader market, but even more important, look at the ones that reported today or yesterday. Well, today and then also yesterday, though, now that are going to have the continuation. So Facebook, Microsoft, eBay, PayPal. What else is on that list? UPS. That one's going to keep coming up. There's a few of the ones we're watching, even like Twitter. So keep your eyes out for that coming in. But those are going to be the same ones. You find the ones that are in the money, and you wait. The ones that were in the money and then fell out, those are going to be golden when it comes to trying to play, get a cheap premium and get it into the money. But now let us talk about the play that I want to go over with you guys. It is related now to Boeing. So this happened today now. So because I'm going to go back to the earnings or really the rest of the plays I have to watch today. But Boeing's going to be one. But I want to get into the options with it. So they moved today and it was all over the place. First it dropped and then it came up. It shot up. Again, there's news of the probe and then Southwest groundings. There's honestly a few different pieces of news, but overall positive, or at least that's how investors took it. But now this brings up a point with the contracts. Now, this is what we played. We played the April 26th 390s. I got them at 8 cents, and we sold one at 50, so I'm still holding one. And I'm going to explain why I'm holding it and talk about that. And actually, you could see, that's not Boeing, that's Apple. You could see when we got it, but I forgot. I want to show you guys even the stream alerts with it because we put this up here. And a lot of people were even asking me, how to get to it today on stream. Let me see if I have it figured out. All right, I had to pull up one of my videos. So you could go here. It's in the description. I don't know why it's not loading there. It'll be right there, that BITLY link. It's also pinned in the comments. And it's going to take you to this page, and then it brings up all three: the real estate course, stock trading boot camp, and then stream alerts. Click there, and then it'll take you. Watch the nice little video. That is what you need to go. But then this is how it looks. You're going to get the alert on your phone. But Boeing now, it moved, and we alerted that drop. But then it popped here. So I want to talk about what happened. And we said, I put it out there, and you see even then the alert thing, a lot of people were confused. But the whole idea, as you see, just says new trade activity. That was important and notable, and we looked at it along with a few other things, but the most important thing here now was how we played it and why. Next week's, and we called it out. I said it on stream. I did this trade there. A lot of people got into it. We played this week, and I flipped it, but afterwards, even after it popped up, what time did we get it at? 12:41. Yeah, so you guys can see we were really early on that one. It looks like a really monstrous move, but it was a lot of velocity. And honestly, we were unaware of the news. We saw the pop. There was a bunch of different news getting posted, and we were able to react. But I went quick on that contract, and there's a reason why I selected that and why it was cheap. I wanted the one before it, but it was too expensive, and I slipped, and I wanted to get two contracts instead. So I went to the 390 instead. Or which one did I get? I think I had 395. No, 390 which is pretty good, but a lot of us, you guys have been watching the watch list. We've put this on there, but that was more reacting and playing the fact it was the Thursday, Friday on the contracts. These contracts were 8 cents when I bought them. So they went up, and if you guys saw it, I sold it like 19 minutes later at 1 o'clock for $50. So, we got filled 8 cents. So even then, we paid a lot at 8 cents. Isn't that funny? It looks like it gapped up when we bought it. So they were really, really cheap because they weren't expecting much. And that's what I want to talk about. But at 1 o'clock right there, we sold out at 50 and it just kept going. It went up to 70 and it still actually held and it came down, but we're holding it. But now the question is, why does it have value? Why was it cheap and why did it go up? And even for the beginners, you got to understand, what is this play? You're making a deal with someone and you're saying, hey, I'm going to buy 100 shares of Boeing from you for $390. And he's like, okay. And you're going to pay him cash. We gave him $10. So why did he take $10? Because at this time, even with it going up, we're telling him, hey, by the end of tomorrow, we will pay you $390 for Boeing. And we'll pay you $10 if you reserve Boeing at that price for us. He's like, all right. because Boeing's at 376. That's $15 higher. That'd be double this move that it already made, actually. So it makes sense to him, and even then he gets to, you said you're going to buy, you said you're going to buy the shares from him at a higher price. It's a win-win for him. So that's why they were cheap, but this is the strategy I'm telling you guys to understand on Fridays now. All these contracts are going to expire, so people's motivation now coming into tomorrow, why is this holding value? Why is this now 47 cents though? Why is it charging $47 instead of $10? Why did it go up so much in value? It's because the stock changed. When we made the deal, the stock was at 375, but now the stock's at 383 and it hit a high of 384. But the thing was, it went all the way up and then it came down, but it went up, I think like 10 in 30 minutes, it went about 10, 15 bucks or 12 bucks. It's the velocity. So now people are expecting it. That's why now with it moving, it went up, it shot up at that pace, it's holding up. So people are willing to pay $50 even coming into close because it's trading at 383. It's $7 away. People are saying, hey, it could actually move there. They're unsure, but come tomorrow, watch after every 10, 20 minutes, and depending on if the stock gaps up or down, then these are going to expire worthless. And that's the point. This is where you guys have to understand where the contracts are getting value and where they're losing value. Because when you're putting it into perspective here, you have to really ask yourself, would you buy these contracts? Would you do this deal when it comes to Friday? And that's where a lot of people, you don't want to just buy random contracts, but in this case now too, this is where we're going to look for the contracts that, there's a reason why this is $47 because, and that's a lot for one day because it did move so much and people are expecting or implying that it's going to do something. So with the whole point here is that you find these contracts that are still expensive, the ones that went in the money, that barely clipped in the money, fell out. I don't know if the 385 did, but they're holding a lot of value. Come tomorrow morning after the first open, there's going to be a change. The next 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on where the stock is now, these are going to start dropping because people's expectations are going to settle and then the clock starts ticking. If an hour goes by and the stock does nothing on Friday morning, or it goes by an hour just to go up and then down and up and end up at the same place, people are going to say, well, if it does that for the next 5 more hours of the day, it's not going to go anywhere. So then the contract prices start going down. That is where you guys want to take advantage of it. And the point is, though, you need the underlying stock to move. So if Boeing doesn't move tomorrow, even if Boeing gaps up to 385 tomorrow, even 387, but doesn't move a dollar after that, we're still going to lose money on that. So that's where you have to understand, too, where they're getting value. So watch Boeing, though, because those contracts are inflated, so anything falling in and out of the money, even on the put side, those could be very, very good plays and good values. But again, you need Boeing to move. But coming off of earnings, that could be pretty decent. So beyond Boeing, the next one I want to talk about is Disney. So this one came up on the stream alerts too. And, I guess I have to brag about this one on the stream alerts. This is how it looked like when we said it. And, shout out to chat, though. This was the team effort. This is, again, how for the stream alerts, how it works, you guys. That we don't put out the plays. You could actually see there, I guess there's the screenshot of it. But what that's showing, it's saying, hey, if there's something notable that we're talking about and it's moving, you'll get an alert of that. And even if, I'm very informal with it. And then if there is trade activity, you get the text. And as you see, we traded the Disney. It said new trade activity after that. Again, there was a bunch more tweets that came because there was a lot happening at the time. And at the same time, it was UNH, and I played both of those. But we got Disney, so we played these today too, and we got them at 20 cents for the 139s. And I chased these, remember. We got, and they closed at the same price we bought them, but they went up to 80. Wow, I did not know they went up to 88 cents. I would have sold those. They went up to 88 cents at one point, and we bought them at 20 cents. So that's like 500%. But these Disneys are holding value. Disney's been strong, but watch these contracts to see how they fall in and out of the money. But these are the good ones to watch. But I like it overall. It is great in general. So watch Disney and wait for this to fall in or out of the money. I don't know if it's going to drop more or less. It doesn't have to come down, but we'll see. And then the other one, we played these today, and we got a good fill on them. We did something similar, and they ended up coming down, but the contracts are still kind of holding the value, but the Qualcomm. So anybody knows, I like these 87s, even at this price. I like them at this price today but now there's 1 day less. So these actually are going to have to be cheaper tomorrow, and we're going to be down on them if Qualcomm doesn't move. Watch Qualcomm. It could. I don't know if the Intel news will affect it. I think it could benefit them. Nvidia is going to be one to watch, but putting this here, I like the 87s, if not the 85s. I'm bullish on Qualcomm. I'm looking for it to make a big bounce. If it does rip, I have been getting worried. I might be able to look to grab a put, but this is going to be one. Again, it has a catalyst. It's just like the Boeing. Why are people willing to pay so much for this? Even Disney as well. Disney, Boeing, Qualcomm. Why are people willing to pay so much even on a Friday? It's because the stocks have catalyst and reason to move. So let them drop, let the panic settle in, or theta in the movement. If that drops out of nowhere, it could drop, but then if the stock comes back, people could quickly revalue it. Hopefully I'm communicating clearly with what I'm trying to say on that, but those are going to be the plays to watch. But Qualcomm's going to be a good one. I like Facebook and Microsoft as well, but there's one more I have. UNH. This one hasn't moved, so again, this could be a cuck. I got these, and they held up. Again, they kind of held break even. I like UNH as well. I got MRK today too, but Bio's been doing good if that continues, but it hasn't. The expectations are low, so don't expect this to move. It's going to be cheap because expectations are low. However, if there is any movement with anything healthcare, watch these contracts, especially the 232s. If those could get to maybe like $5-10, call me ambitious, but I think those would be a good deal. So there's that. I'm going to want to play Intel right at open too, but these were some of the bigger earnings and plays that we saw today. I think there was a few more. I thought I had a few more options. I'm going to like the NVIDIAs, but it's going to be watching the rest of the plays now. The continuations. Like I said, we're going to like NVIDIA. You could watch AMD and Qualcomm setting up. I like the Qualcomms on there as well, too. I want to keep an eye out, even like Twitter and Snapchat. Snapchat was really interesting today. Oh, and another one, Ford. Actually, I was wrong on these ones. Depending on how much it moves tomorrow, that could be interesting. They reported, but I was wrong on this one. I didn't think it actually moved. Those contracts are going to be up, so congrats to you guys who played that. But it could make some moves tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for Ford. What else do we have? That's pretty much all I'm thinking. There's going to be the restorations, Lulus, again, Facebook too, but a lot is going to be off of pre-market, so make sure you guys are there. That's pretty much it. I better see your watch list. I better see you on stream. If you're not going to make it, see you on the stream alerts. I love you guys. Get ready. Let's go!